Good morning. Welcome. Today I'm joined by a fabulous leader, Saori, who is an incredible leader who transformed her career and her leadership approach through the journey within the Leadership Accelerator. And that is what we're going to talk about today. So, as a quick recap, sorry, we were just talking about this, is that this has been a year ago that we first connected and we started talking about the Accelerator. And you were an immediate yes on that conversation that we had. So, would you take us back in time, back a year in time, and tell us what was happening in your career?
It's hard to imagine that it's been almost a year ago, exactly a year ago, actually. So I've been to a completely was first of all, my organization and my team completely different place, and so was I. In general, we had a lot of change, a lot of unexpected changes, I would say, in my team, in my role, and the leadership as well. So know what to do. I didn't know what actually my responsibilities, what's my role, what value I'm bringing. I believe things happen exactly when they have to happen, and I'm really grateful that I discovered you and your accelerator.
You've highlighted a few of them, of course, like the change. There's lots of changes in leadership, but can you just expand a little bit on the challenges you were facing in your leadership role at that moment in time?
Yes, so I had a change of leadership, and the situation was like I was feeling alone. Basically, I was not sure what's going to happen my next, or am I staying here, or am I being, what do I need to do, what projects I need to work on. Like nobody gave me any sense of direction. And basically, I had a choice. I can stay next leadership to come. I could leave, or I can work on creating basically the work environment I would like to work on, projects that I would like to work on, work with people that I would like to work. It required a lot of, so it required some kind of external push that I found in the accelerator. That's what I needed. Like I was feeling like I was left all alone, lost, I don't know, in the supermarket by her parents, and didn't know what to do. And I needed to have a guide next to me, somebody to support me, some safe environment to say, okay, you can do it. You're actually not a little girl. You are a strong, brave professional who can make her own choices, who can make her own decisions, and who can work on great things.
Yeah. Was there a specific moment where you thought, oh goodness, something has to change like this? I can't go forward in this anymore. And you said yes. So can you tell us that, or can you share with us what that moment was?
Remember that it was Friday evening after the whole week when all the changes were announced, and I was literally like sitting on my couch drinking my tea like this, daring to stay in. My husband said, actually, well, you can stay in your shell and you can just do nothing and wait, or you can make a massive action without really thinking what you're doing. Just do something. And that's actually started doing something. So I started looking for networking events. I started looking at my LinkedIn and my connections, started reading, reporting books and whatsoever. And that's actually how I discovered a workshop, I think that was, and then without waiting for the workshop, I decided to reach out to you directly and say, hey, Kim, I really like what you're talking about. I'm looking forward to the workshop. And that's how we connected. And I discovered that you also have this accelerator. And yeah, for me, it was just, yes, I need some action. I'm not going to think too much about it. I need it.
For you, if you're looking at that, what was, let's talk about what changed along the way. What was the biggest mindset shift that really helped you move forward?
Yeah. I think it's about taking back all the things I can control. And I mean, I know everybody control things you can't control, but self-control. But it's easy to say, but for me, it really meant also understanding that I can actually control a lot of things. And I'm, again, like positive thing, it's an easy thing to say, but, it's hard to implement. And for me, positive thinking would be first positive towards myself, harsh on myself, stop challenging myself, and just use all of the amazing things and skills I already have to build relationships, to promote myself, to projects I would like to work on, to be visible. But all those great things would not be able if I would not basically allow myself.
Yeah.
And to find that, brave girl inside of me instead of just a scared kitten.
Oh, I love that. Sorry. And I loved supporting and seeing that growth that was happening for you over the 6 months and over the past year, because you, of course, continue to grow after the accelerator. Can you share a moment where you took what you learned, or you applied what you had learned and discovered inside the accelerator, and that you saw a tangible difference from what was before and then what you've seen since then?
Yeah, I can remember two was when I had my first difficult conversation with leaders in my company. And basically, a year ago, thinking of that person and have a chat, propose not even like to have a presentation but just really have a chat, propose that thing to do. Basically, I learned everything. I used everything I learned in the accelerator to allow myself to understand, okay, what's in it for him. And that in general, that mindset, thinking about, okay, what's it for other people I'm talking to, my colleagues, my leaders. I think that's also a thing that I learned in one of the first months in the accelerator. And then the way and the discussion was basically about, listen, I'm not in an easy situation and I've been working for 3 months without any guidance. Can you give me? That's basically one of the goals of that conversation. Basically, it grew to a good working relationship that I have.
Just to really get crystal clear on that, before you joined the accelerator, that wouldn't have been necessarily an action you would have taken. Is that right?
No.
And then, so you now went into, because as I'm hearing this, of course, I'm thinking like, okay, so you probably use techniques from the Boardroom Whisper for techniques.
Yes.
And this is also into the strategic networking that we talk about and how do we do strategic communication. If you look back now, a year ago, how is your relationship with, because this was like one of the top leaders of the organization that you reached out to, wasn't it?
Now it's for me easy to WhatsApp him and for like it. I mean, now we have great, perfect working relationships. And I know that in their mind, I am a go-to person. And that's exactly what I wanted to achieve. So I'm a go-to person for all the questions concerning my field of work and whatsoever. Then it also kind of opened to the leaders, both like through connections with this person, but also the mindset I already achieved. Okay, I after that, then it's not that hard anymore to do to repeat. Copy paste.
So you really raise the visibility of yourself and what you've been accomplishing within your organization.
Yeah, it's going both ways. So I wrote my visibility because I have more opportunity now to do that, but also because I learned how to do that and I allowed myself to do that. And I have more, I feel strong to do that.
Okay. So how do you feel about self-promoting yourself now?
Well, it does, because I think before joining Accelerator and like the term self-promotion have like negative connotation, I would say. Oh no, like I have to, there's no such thing. I have to work hard, then I will be noticed, and I will be promoted and whatsoever. Realized it's not necessarily the case. You can work hard, and I can see people who work hard and work 30 years, and it's not exactly what I wanted, right? For me, self-promotion, it's two things again. It's about knowing my strengths and knowing how to use them on the one hand, and the other part is building relationships. It can be perceived as something I can imagine, like kind of, I don't know, friends to self-promote, but actually not. It's about, I think when you're sincere in your intentions, but really want to build relationship, you want to speak what's this person working on, what's on his mind, to help them, not from the position of a big guy.
What can I get from them?
Like I just, I want to serve them, but you want to be his business partner. And that's basically self-promotion for me now.
Yeah, and building in a sense, your self-promotion is your personal brand in the organization, right? So that's go for. Okay, so let's circle back to that second example, because I cut you off right before you got into it.
So that happened already after the accelerator, and that was the situation when I had to basically protect my because before the accelerator, it was really hard to say no. Again, it's a mindset when the more things you do, the more you do, the more visible you are. But actually, you're not. You have to be strategic and selective in activities you do at work.
Mm-hmm.
And otherwise, you have to carefully say no. So when we had the strength workshop, the outcomes of that strength workshop, you use the tracker. That's the system I use to kind of prove to this person my achievements and the value I bring, and to basically justify why I don't want to go after that project, because it's just too small and I won't have time for all other great things I'm doing. And again, so to say no, and the other thing that I also propose a solution to this person, how to deal with this project that they have. So it was kind of all win-win from all the sides. I promote myself and say, okay, these are my achievements and this is things I've been working on and continue working on. So what you pay is just too small for me. And on the other hand, I was collaborative and as an alternative solution. So I positioned myself and also showed that I can protect my boundaries and I can protect myself. And that I'm not that girl who just says yes to every task that comes in.
And I mean, you're already highlighting it through showing the difference between what was before we started working together a year ago, and where you are now. Can you be a little even more specific on how your confidence has grown working through the Accelerator program and all the training and coaching that and the support that you received there?
Yeah.
And essentially just how did you grow throughout the program? How did your confidence grow throughout the program?
Yeah. I mean, it's really easy to it feels so easy now. I think that's the biggest achievement, because I used to overthink a lot of things. I used to think through scenarios, rehearse my difficult conversations and still go and do it. And now it just feels natural. It just feels a part of myself. Of course, I'm saying I can do everything. Of course, now it's still a learning curve. It's just the level of level of conversations I can handle. And people I'm talking to, it's growing, and then the more things you do, again, the more you can, the more acceptable for you, and to I think also to give some instrumental part how it works in my brain. I think what's really, of course, you were really great and supportive, but also I'm really grateful to other Accelerator members, because that was a really great support when they were just saying it, just do it, just you're great, you're awesome, and it still sits in my head, and that's what I'm. If I have any doubts, I just turn it on in my head, like this. Playlist.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear, because I know the communities part is such an important piece that I love to nurture within inside the Accelerator, because I don't know how it was for you, but I know in my corporate experience, you get very lonely, especially as a woman in leadership. Yeah, that's great to share about that. Before we go further into the community piece, because of course there's lots we could talk about that too, but if you were to look back over the last year, what were the strategies or the tools that made the biggest impact for you from either within this Accelerator or what you got from through the coaching and through the support that you received?
I already mentioned the achievement tracker, and it's a very instrumental thing, but overall workshop had a really great on the rest of the week, because it was about collecting feedback from your people from your people around you that was really impactful. It was analyzing your strengths and writing your position statement. And then after that, you make your achievements tracker, which is not just a bunch of random things you do, but it's also very strategic to prove every strength you kind of highlighted for yourself. So, and that's something you use. The other one was this board whisper
technique.
But in general, I did not know about this concept before later. And then I think it's a very complete guide that helps you to understand how to work with the people in the board positions and high leadership, starting from how do you need to prepare for these talks, behave during the important meetings, and what do you need to do after them. So I think that's
I love it. Yeah, it's one of my favorite tools, the techniques. And I keep hearing it every time. So many group coaching conversations that we've had as you talk about the community, etc., is so often we get to is referring back to that technique,
Yeah.
just because it is so powerful and so effective. So how would you say that your leadership presence and influence has evolved over the past year?
It's an interesting question. It just feels true to do impactful things and work on an impactful project without noticing it. And I think that's the part but where it becomes tricky, because then at some point you take it as granted. You think, oh, it's always been like this. No, it was not actually. It was a lot of hard work. And yes, what I already mentioned, it's about daring and allowing yourself to work on impactful. It's not about you do it because it has been always inside of me. I knew how to do these things. I knew how to. I had a lot of skills, soft skills and hard skills to do. It's about,
in a sense, getting out of your own ways, not being that small little girl afraid in the corner, but really stepping into that yourself and your power.
Yeah. And I think that the best thing about how you people and other colleagues, when they also join your great projects, that they work with pleasure, and they kind of, you also, you create impact not only for yourself, but for the whole team. And that's a great thing to see, to realize as well, to see you've been a driver of great things.
I love that. And I also remember that you had, during the Accelerator, that there were opportunities you had to present to the executives. Did those opportunities come as a part of all the work that you did in preparation throughout?
Yeah, of course, because it kind of, again, unfolds naturally when you start your massive action things. And I can also work on making it better or make a bigger impact.
So this is already showcases a really great example of how your work professionally has changed so much since you completed the program and since you started a year ago. What other things would you say have changed and have really impacted you professionally and personally in them, of course, in the best way possible?
The community became part of my life now, because I've been living in the Netherlands for 8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really have a profession until last year, and Accelerator was maybe a part of it. But again, for me, it required some kind of daring, some kind of confidence to just go and start work.
Yeah.
And to the point that for now, sometimes when I go to networking events, I feel like I need to slow it down because it's becoming too much. I have too many now. I can't handle that much.
Okay.
But for me, what it brings to me, it brings different perspectives. And meeting other people, other women who are in similar position, completely different position, it kind of helps to come out of that corporate bubble. Know people who have corporate jobs. For them, it's really hard to get out of the bubble because you go to the same place, you talk to the same people, and then you cannot bring anything fresh. And then you're frustrated that your company hires somebody from the outside to bring. And, being outside of it, being physically outside, talking to people, that's what helps me to stay kind of on top of what's going on in the world, what's going on outside my company. So I would say that's one. It's a small thing again, which feels natural to me now. But I remember that in the Accelerator we had a tradition of writing every Friday, what are your wins of the week or something. And I remember that was one of the hardest exercises for me, because for me, I've never been that person who celebrates every, I don't know, small thing.
Yeah. You're not the only one.
And then it's about what are you celebrating and how are you celebrating. So and I remember we had to write both. Like, it's a very important conversation. Spoil myself with I don't know. And I do think that surprisingly every week there's breaks.
Yeah.
And even if it was not the best, the fact that it's done and you came out of it strong.
Yeah, it's such a valuable thing. I know one of the other participants at one point said we had someone else come into the community, and then they started they shared their celebrations and wins any day of the week, not just on a Friday. And I know another one said, I can't believe we can actually do this. I've learned to celebrate on other days than the Friday. I mean, it's like these small things that you think, yeah, I know It sounds so silly. I'm thinking back to the movie Clueless, but like not Clueless. What was it? It's with Reese Witherspoon, like Legally Blonde, the Legally Blonde 2, she's in the Senate and we need to celebrate in like snaps for this. And it is such a basic thing to do and so easy to do, yet it's so often overlooked. And that definitely is such a key part of really celebrating yourself and finding that motivation. So how do you feel with all of this today? How do you feel like about stepping into leadership today compared to a year ago?
A year ago I wanted it, but now I'm just doing it, let's say, without, and I also realized like leadership is job title, basically. It's not like, even though I don't have officially a C-suite position or director position or whatsoever, but it doesn't mean that you are not a leader. Growing towards it, and it will come. But then, being a leader, you can, because everybody can start doing it today, despite their intern or whatsoever part. So what I learned in the accelerator, I not only applied to talk to the leadership, but I also applied it to talk to more interns or whatsoever, and kind of transfer the knowledge and transfer. Well, that's leadership, right?
Yeah.
So you know how to talk to your reports.
Yeah, exactly.
And or even to your peers, like how do you talk to them? How do you work? That's the definition of leadership. Instead of like really wanting it but being scared, and I'm really enjoying being a leader.
I love that. So that scared little girl that we shared at the very beginning and that we talked about a year ago, she has grown up from the sounds of it.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's still there. I think she will be. And but instead of just being her, and instead of just being scared of all things, I can have a dialogue with this girl.
Okay. You're still taking massive action. So one of the things I loved, because I know you started this during the accelerator, was you stepped into another big volunteer role with an organization we're both associated with. So with Female Ventures, if anyone's interested. In the Netherlands.
Yeah.
But I remember having this conversation with you too, and that was quite a step for you as well.
Yeah. And that's, again, it's a mix of all things. It's also a need to give back to the society, which I think only you have that urge. That's again an opportunity to step out of your bubble and do things, and also use your skills the way you really want. Because when you're a volunteer, you don't have board members and also 15 levels. Do things, you do them. It's great people I met, so it's now became a really important part of my life.
Yeah.
And also this year, also joined the mentorship program as a mentor again, because I might not have a lot of reports currently, but actually to transfer the knowledge and energy I have with somebody.
Yeah, and you're growing your influence, Saori. I know I would always encourage you to look at rather than putting the limit on the fact that you don't have a lot of direct reports, of like the amount of leadership you've grown into over the past year, been inspiring.
Exactly. And I know that it inspires other people in my organization about these things, and people do their actions, massive actions. Yeah. And again, this is also an illustration of leadership.
So what advice would you give to other women who are in your shoes where you used to be, and they're in that place right now?
Join the accelerator. If you don't have a lovely husband like I do, who says just do something, then I would be that person. Start doing things, and by doing, not saying they read and learn like kind of passive things. It's about action. You need to start doing actions.
And could you have gotten where you are today without the accelerator?
I would still go towards my goal, because I believe that's where I am and I have a lot of strength inside, but it will just be, that's why it's called accelerator, because it accelerates things that might take a few years, and only took me 6 months to grow to that position.
Yeah, I love that. And what if you were to look at the results that you achieved, what would you say? Did it come in the form of like promotions or salary? or leadership growth or work-life balance, like a couple of just different areas here. But what would you say for yourself, looking and reflecting back? What were the big results that you're like, yes, this is what came out of participating in the accelerator? And you just shared, like, it would have taken you years to get to where you are right now. So that's already a huge win.
What is, and it's hard to measure, but it's the projects that I'm doing and the level of the projects I'm involved into. That's my network and external, but internal network, because I think that part was one of the most challenging for me, and that part I could only do with the accelerator because I really needed that push of you guys. Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting for some more tangible things like promotion, whatsoever, but I also realized it is important, but it's not the only important measure. Influence, and also hard to measure, but my confidence, like internal confidence, and that the guts I have, I really grow it. And
I love that for you. And if you're listening to this on the audio, you might not see the absolute joy and excitement on your face, Saori, but there's such a different version of Saori that's in front of me right now than you were a year ago. So let me ask you a couple last questions. If you could tell your past self one thing before starting this journey, what would it be?
Well, I want to say so many things.
Okay, you can pick a couple, but let's pick the first couple, the most important ones.
No, that's something that you told me back then, and Accelerator members, you can do it, and you do it, and you're great. I think that's what I need a year ago, and that's what I heard eventually from you guys. But I think everybody needs to know that you're really great and you can do everything.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Any other last things you wanted to add, Saori, to your journey and or to anyone that's listening?
I want to say thank you to doing this, and it was an opportunity for me to flash back the whole year for me, and also again to understand how much they grow, like things I take for granted. It was actually a lot of on my side. So to not forget to celebrate my within past year.
Yeah.
So really big thank you to everything you do, Kim.
Oh, thank you.
And for you, because you're amazing hard things you shared with us. It's really great. I think your personality, that also what made me say yes to you, because that's sometimes what we women need.
And was there something specific about that?
I say that's your energy, because we need to have energetic people around.
Love it. Wonderful. I will connect Saori's information in the show notes. So if you are deciding like, hey, I want to reach out and have a quick chat with Saori, of course you can do that on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, Saori. It has always been a privilege to have you in the Accelerator,